Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. This is a new day for our So What on Facebook here. So thank you for joining me and coming on over to Monday this week. The reason that we changed our usual Tuesday to Monday this week is because we have a free webcast tomorrow on our education platform, which is sewingonline.sulky.com. And we want to make sure that you have all the time that you need to kind of prep for the webcast tomorrow. So we thought we would bring So What to you a day early so that I can tell you about the webcast tomorrow and a couple of other things, and we won't have any confusion between this event and that event. So that is the reason for the day change. So I hope all of you who normally join on Tuesday were able to join us today, and maybe we have some new people watching who maybe aren't available on Tuesdays who are able to join today instead. So I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. I am definitely ready for some spring to arrive. We actually have snow on the way this week, but I decided to dress a little bit cheerier and, bring in some spring colors into my studio. So I hope you all are feeling the love as well. To start things off today, I want to be sure to let you know that today is our last day for this really great free shipping promotion. So any orders through midnight tonight, you can get free shipping with no minimums. All right. So be sure to write this code down and don't forget it at checkout so that you get this great deal. So if you are planning tomorrow to join us for the webcast, let me know. Give me a thumbs up or a heart emoji if you're attending tomorrow. And if you're not, I will be telling you a little bit about the webcast so you know what to expect. And then maybe you can join us tomorrow, maybe for the first time. It's a completely free education experience where you learn from an expert in their field, and it's just a fascinating, good time. So we will get to that in a moment. And to kind of go along with that, I wanted to let you all know that we have a new offering at sulky.com. How many of you out there have used the Cotton and Steel thread by Sulky? It's our 50 weight thread, and it's long staple Egyptian cotton, and it's just fantastic to use. And actually, I was talking to Rachel Painter last week. She is our special guest for the webcast tomorrow. And we were talking about thread and how you can kind of differentiate high quality thread from not so high quality thread, let's say. I get this question a lot. People a lot of the times think thread is thread, or they go to their local fabric store and while they're picking out fabrics, they grab a bunch of thread spools from the bargain bin or just thread that might say all purpose, and they think they can use that for everything. And while that might be true, and you could potentially use it for everything, do you really want to? And why is it important to get a higher quality thread? Well, there are the obvious reasons where, you might think high quality thread, it's probably going to last longer. It might not have as many break points. It might be more lustrous. It might have more vibrant colors. That is all true. So when you're making something like a quilt or even a garment, and you want it to last a long time, it's really important to invest in a high quality thread that is also going to last a long time. If you've ever wondered what the term long staple means, it basically means that the fibers along the thread length are longer and they kind of overlap a bit more than something that would not be long staple. So when you go to tug on it and to try to break it, it either won't break or it will have, like I said, less break points. So you'll have less lint that would occur during your sewing, less breakage, like I said previously. So these things are really important when we're making something we want to last. And if you're going to go through all of that trouble to make a quilt that could take you months or even years for some of us who have to schedule our sewing with all the other things that are going on in our lives, spend the extra couple bucks and get some high quality thread. And while I was talking to Rachel, she mentioned that she gave some of our 50 weight cotton thread to a relative who, is kind of used to this all-purpose thread, bargain bin thread type of experience. And she was amazed by the results. So I really challenge you to grab up a spool and do some test stitch outs. If you're used to grabbing that all-purpose thread, or maybe a thread that, I know a lot of us have thread spools in our closets or we inherit them from someone. I have an entire bin of what I call vintage thread. And it's really more decorative to me because I don't really want to run the risk of it not working out for my project, or it being brittle or dusty. So while I can't part with it, and I certainly don't want to throw it away, it's more of a decorative or nostalgic kind of thing in my sewing room. So I don't know if some of you have that same experience, but it would be something I would display as like a pretty accent, but something I want to use for one of my precious sewing projects. I kind of up the game a little bit. So at any rate, I know I'm babbling. I have a tendency to do that, but I really suggest that you grab up some high quality 50 weight cotton from Sulky would be a great choice, and just compare it to maybe what you're usually working with for construction or quilting or piecing, and see how you like the results. That's really the only way for you to understand the difference between something that's super high quality and something that maybe is not. So just take that into account. Now, that being said, this is our 50 weight cotton and steel thread. It comes on a king spool. It has 660 yards. It's rather pricey, I will say. Totally worth it. I use it for so many things. I actually use this as my version of all-purpose thread. And it's a little bit lighter weight maybe than what you would be used to for an all-purpose thread, let's say for constructing a garment, but it's very, very strong and high quality. Like I mentioned, that Egyptian cotton, it's just so, so nice. So I wanted to play you a video of showing you a little inside scoop of how it's made. If you're anything like me, you love these how it's made videos. I showed my kids a video of how crayons are made, and they were like blown away. I've never really seen them that intent on watching, I guess what you would call a documentary style video, but they're just so fascinating. And I think it's really important to see what goes on, in the factories when they are making the thread and what care goes into making it. So I just have a little snippet of that video, and it's a precursor to tell you that we now have the 50 weight cotton thread available on our very popular snap spools. So a snap spool holds 160 yards of thread, and it's our smaller size, and it has the snap spool on both ends. So you carefully sort of unsnap it, unwind your thread end, and then when you're done sewing, you store it in that snap end and snap it shut. And it's just a really neat and tidy way to keep your thread spools from unraveling in your drawers or on your shelves or however you like to store your thread. So now you can get this really great 50 weight cotton thread on these smaller spools, which makes them much more affordable, especially if you want to grab an assortment. Let's say you want to get an assortment of neutrals for all of your quilting and piecing needs. Then you can grab up lots and lots of colors without having to make a larger investment on these larger spools. Now, by all means, if you already know and love the 50 weight cotton thread, you can grab up the cotton and steel spools, and you'll have much more for a larger quilt project, something like that. So I'm going to show you this video. It's less than a minute, and then we will come back. If you have some comments about thread quality, or you have questions about the 50 weight cotton thread, put them in the comments while I'm showing the video, and I will go through them and we'll address some questions when we come back. All right, here we go. Cotton and steel thread by Sulky is made from 100% Egyptian-grown Giza cotton. The long staple fibers are silky, lustrous, and bright. The 50 weight thread is twisted, mercerized, and then put into a dye machine for 8 hours. After the final color check, the thread is sent to Germany for a finish coat, the final winding, and labeling. It's gone through great lengths to get to you, where you'll use it for all of your sewing and quilting projects. Just like you take great care in the projects you create, we ensure our thread exceeds our standard of quality. Try this thread today and create with confidence. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I apologize. I just wanted to show you a little bit of behind the scenes on how the cotton and steel thread by Sulky, or the 50 weight cotton thread, is, all the care that is put into creating this thread. A lot of the times you don't think about how it's made and all of the, quality control that goes into every little process, from from the creation of it to the winding of it to the dyeing of it. So I think it's really fascinating. But yes, that 50 weight cotton, some of you said in the comments before I lost the previous feed, wait a second, there's steel in the thread? And no, there's not steel in the thread. The name Cotton and Steel actually comes from a fabric line by RJR Fabrics. And so that is called Cotton and Steel. It has nothing to do with the content of the thread itself. So the thread is 100% Egyptian cotton, and there's no steel in it whatsoever. It is, like I said, long staple. It's really, really high quality stuff. So I hope that you are able to grab up some of the snap spools and try lots and lots of these beautiful colors. This is just a neutrals pack. This 6-pack comes with our beginner quilter kit, actually, which is inside of this really cute pouch. So I know I'm showing you a lot of stuff today, and I really do want to get to the webcast, but speaking of those snap spools of the 50 weight thread, we also have some special thread curations that we've created in advance of tomorrow's webcast. So if you missed the previous feed that got cut off early by my mistake, then we're about to get to tomorrow's webcast. Tomorrow's webcast is at sewingonline.sulky.com. It's not here on Facebook. You have to go register for it. So now that I had to start the live feed over, we will need to copy and paste the description for today's post into this live feed now. I know it's confusing, and I apologize for my error, so that you can get the links for registering for the webcast that's happening tomorrow. So tomorrow we will be making a quilt that has blocks that are all themed for road tripping, visiting the national parks, getting out there in nature. Traveling right now is really up in the air. It's really based on personal preference, whether you feel comfortable enough to do that. But I do know lots of people are hitting the road, getting in their cars, maybe when they would normally fly to places and things like that. So we thought it would be really great to put together a quilt with Fiona Sandwich quilt patterns. She kind of specializes in these national park themed quilts, and they're all done using foundation paper piecing methods. So we kind of joined forces and got her some sulky paper solvy to try in her quilts. And honestly, I don't know if she will ever go back to using regular paper for foundation paper piecing again. If you have not tried the sulky paper solvy, this is a dream for foundation paper piecing. You print right onto the paper. It's very, very lightweight, and it's completely water soluble. So you can run a Q-tip under some water and rub it along your seam lines on the back of your work and just lift up all those paper pieces. So you don't have to get tweezers into these little small, crevices of paper and fabric and try to pull the paper away. You might pop seams and things like that when that goes on. So a water-soluble paper product is so amazing. So you're going to learn how to work with this to make some of the quilt blocks in the Road Trip Quilt pattern. So that is the excitement for tomorrow. But what is even more exciting and relevant to what I'm talking about today is that Rachel Painter of Fiona Sandwich Patterns uses the 50 weight cotton thread on the snap spools. Let me show you a snap spool to do her foundation paper piecing. So this nice lightweight 50 weight cotton thread is great, great, great for quilt piecing. It allows you, because it's so lightweight, it allows you to press your seams and you don't have that kind of telltale visible bump from your thread along all of your seam lines. Because it's so lightweight, it just kind of like blends in with the fabric. So when you have the bulk of your paper and all of your seaming from foundation paper piecing, it's really important to use a lighter weight thread so that you can press everything nice and flat and continue on with your block construction. So that being said, Rachel wanted to curate a really cool 12-pack of the 50 weight cotton snap spools, and these are all colors that go with the Road Trip quilt as well as her other national park patterns available on her website. So we called this pack Land and Sea. It's the Land and Sea quilting palette or thread palette for quilting. And you get all 12 spools of these awesome colors that are great for any kind of nature themed quilt pattern that you're working on. Has a couple of neutrals thrown in there as well. So this is just a really great idea to grab up these beautiful colors all in one pack so that you can save a little bit of money. And don't forget to get your free shipping, which ends at midnight tonight. So add the code free shipping into the coupon code area to be sure to take advantage of that. So like I said, assorted 50 weight cotton thread on snap spools. And this is our quilting palette for piecing and quilting. And you'll see some more of these popping up here and there throughout the year, but this is our first one with Rachel Painter called Land and Sea. So I wanted to show you that because it's brand new and we will be talking about it tomorrow during the webcast. So here is the Road Trip quilt that we will be making tomorrow. So if you join us for the webcast, it's completely free to register. You will, like I said, understand how to work with sulky paper solvy in creating foundation paper pieced quilt blocks. Rachel also has her own sort of method for foundation paper piecing, and it makes it very, very easy for beginners who have never tried this technique. So she breaks it down really, really simply so you can kind of wrap your head around how to layer your fabric pieces with the paper, how to sew through all layers, all of the machine settings and needle sizes that you need for her chosen threads. So to piece this, Rachel used, like I said, that 50 weight cotton thread by Sulky. And then to quilt it, she used one of our 30 weight cotton blendables. So a lot of really cool stuff going on with this pattern. Here are some of the blocks that are included with the Road Trip Quilt pattern. Now, there are a couple of options as far as how you want to go about making your road trip quilt. You can grab up the digital pattern that is available as an individual purchase, and you can use fabrics that maybe you already have, but you definitely will also want to grab that 50 weight thread and the paper solvy. You need 33 sheets of paper solvy in order to create the size of quilt that I just showed you. And that's quite a bit because in a regular pack, there are only 12 sheets. So it's a really great idea to kind of go the next level and get the Road Trip Quilt Kit, because we have compiled a special run of paper solvy that includes those 33 sheets. So you don't have to grab up, 4 individual packs of paper solvy in order to make the quilt. Also included in the kit is that 50 weight thread. Oops, hold on. A spool of that 50 weight thread for your piecing, as well as a spool of that 30 weight cotton blendables thread for your quilting. You'll also get the pack of needles that you need. This is an assortment of quilting needles, so it includes the smaller needles that you need for 50 weight cotton, as well as the larger needles that you need for the 30 weight cotton. So I really love grabbing up a needle assortment that has a lot of different sizes in it so that you can have fun changing out your thread weights for the particular project. Also, as you can see, you'll get all these beautiful Kona cottons in all of the colors that Rachel uses for the quilt. And what's unique about this quilt and makes it even more beginner friendly is that all of these colors, as you can see, are solids. So you don't have to worry about the directionality of your fabric prints when you're doing paper piecing. You don't have to worry about isolating or fussy cutting certain fabric motifs to include in your blocks. It really just adds another level of skill and stress to kind of use prints, especially for your first time doing foundation paper piecing. Now, by all means, if you are a FPP guru, FPP stands for foundation paper piecing, then maybe you want to challenge yourself and incorporate some prints into the quilt design. That is certainly up to you for maybe the next road trip quilt that you want to make. I also want to mention, I'm going to show you some more blocks. Oops, I keep going back to that one. Here are some more of the blocks that are included in the pattern. Now, you might see that some of the blocks that I just showed you may or may not be in the final road trip quilt that we will be showcasing. You can see that Rachel kind of picked a few from the pattern. So with the pattern, you will get additional blocks so you can really make this your own. You can definitely follow what she did here and make this exactly as you see it. You can see those brown kind of, what is that? A trapezoid? Anyway, it's a rectangular, basically sign, and it looks like a national parks sign. So you can add embroidery there. You can add patches there. And I kept showing you this by mistake, but if you have collected junior ranger badges, or maybe your kids or grandkids are collecting those, this is a great block area to display all those patches. Or maybe you have a Girl Scout who's no longer a Girl Scout but has all kinds of patches that you want to repurpose into kind of like a memory quilt. This is a great place to put those items. If you don't have patches, you can add machine embroidery to those squares, or to those blocks rather, or you can simply swap out that block for a different one that's included in the pattern. So we're going to go over, or you're going to notice too, lots of different ways to personalize this quilt project to your liking. So again, with the kit, you get all the solid fabrics that I showed you in that main quilt image, enough to make I'm going to guess here. I think it's like a 36 by 42 inch quilt, somewhere around there. The exact dimensions are on the website along with this kit project. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. I think you guys will really enjoy her lesson. She's very easygoing and inspirational, and you'll learn a lot of stuff from Rachel. So please join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You can still register, and it's completely free to attend. Now, speaking of machine embroidery, we are also, to get taller, we are also launching a brand new machine embroidery palette. This palette includes 6 spools of sulky rayon thread, great for machine embroidery, and it's our road trip machine embroidery collection. So all of these designs in this collection fit in a 4x4 hoop. They may be slightly bigger than that area I was just showing you. So if you wanted to add these to your quilt, you'll have to resize some of them if you want to use them for that block. Or you can use them elsewhere in the quilt, or you can just have fun and make some other projects using these designs as well. But these just go so well, obviously, with our road trip quilt project. You've got all kinds of great designs that are perfect for loving the outdoors, going hiking, camping, eating those s'mores by the campfire. So this is a really fun collection, and it comes with 6 spools of thread that match all of those Kona cottons that are in the road trip quilt kit. So everything kind of coordinates here, and you can kind of piecemeal whatever products are speaking to you about either commemorating a past road trip or celebrating some new places that you want to go, and kind of making a road trip quilt of your dreams, rather. You know, if you make something that is comprised of blocks of places where you ultimately want to go, you can kind of cross it off of your list and have your nice quilt. So speaking of the machine embroidery palette, here are the 6 spools. It might be a little bit easier to see this way. So really, really pretty. You can see how they coordinate well with the quilt kit. See all those nice colors? And you get all those machine embroidery designs are included with purchase of the 6-pack of thread. So bonus. And also, here's kind of a close-up on the designs. The Adventure Awaits design is your freebie for attending tomorrow's webcast. So all you have to do is register for the webcast, and you will get the Adventure Awaits machine embroidery design completely free. So that's a reason to sign up if I haven't convinced you already. Okay. So those are 3 of the designs that come with the palette, and these are the other ones, just a little bit, larger for you. So I have some questions coming in. Let's address some of them. A lot of them say, hey, where did you go? And, excuse me, thought I turned that off. All right. Yes, so tomorrow's webcast, if you've never attended a webcast with us before, they're about 60 minutes long. Sometimes we go a little bit over because we have live Q&A with our special guest, and sometimes people have more questions for the instructor. And, just like I do here, I have a tendency to embellish. I won't say babble, embellish during the webcast. So sometimes it goes a little bit longer. The webcast is at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure, if you are not Eastern Time, you will need to adjust your calendar accordingly. And when you register, you'll get a confirmation that allows you to add the event to your calendar, and it should populate that event in your calendar at the correct time zone for you. So hopefully that works. Okay. Lots of people are saying they loved visiting national parks and still do. So awesome. And yes, the webcast, you can view it over and over again. Once the event is live, it takes a little while for the video to render, but then it will live on our education platform in your own personal library. We have a lot of education events at sewingonline.sulky.com. And as soon as you register for something, it goes into your personal library. So the freebies, the embroidery design I was just talking about, will all be stored in that education platform for you. So if you don't download it right away, or you can't remember where you saved it on your computer, you can always access it there. And all of the webcasts and our video casts and even our legacy webinars that we used to do, those are all available for you to watch, basically like you are streaming through this platform. Not this platform, but the sewingonline.sulky.com platform. So it's very, very fun. Lots of people, how many of you out there have a camper or a vintage camper or an Airstream? I'm just so jealous of all of you. Give me a thumbs up if you get out there on the road and you like to camp and, create those bonfires. It's just such a fun thing to do, to explore not only our national parks, but just all of the, cities and states in the world, and, even just exploring your own backyard. I think that one of the things that this pandemic has kind of, brought our way is that more and more people are exploring really what's in their own city, or, campgrounds that are around their own homes, rather than traveling elsewhere or going overseas. And we're really learning more about the United States and just things that are near us. So I think that's really cool. Cheryl is asking, is this a one-time class? So the webcast tomorrow, it is only live one time. So I suppose, yes, it is a one-time class. But like I said, you can view it anytime from your library on demand. So once the live event ends, in a couple of hours after the video renders to the platform, you will see it in your library and you can watch it, rewatch it, pause, etc. So if you don't grab your kit until today or until tomorrow, the kit is on sale until tomorrow at midnight. You might want to grab your kit today while you can still get your free shipping code as well. Hint, hint. But if you grab your kit today and you watch the webcast and you don't have your kit, that's totally fine, because we're just giving you an overview. You will get all the technique lessons. Then when your kit arrives, you can pull up the webcast again, watch it on demand, fast forward, rewind, pause, and go through it with the instructor. So the pattern maker herself is going to be giving you all the tips and tricks for working your way through this pattern. So it's really, really invaluable information. All right, Anne-Marie is also liking that machine embroidery collection. Thank you. And Julie says, I can see doing this type of quilt with ski trips, taken with accompanying patches. That's a great idea. You could use all the mountaintop blocks and kind of personalize them with all of your patches. You could use all the tent and tree blocks, or, like I said, you can really, really personalize it to the experience you want to have, or the experience you have had. Dawn is asking, how does this differ from English paper piecing? All right, so we're also going to go over this tomorrow. Rachel has an entire portion of her presentation talking about the differences between EPP, English paper piecing, and FPP, foundation paper piecing. So with English paper piecing, it's, from what I understand, always done by hand. And you are kind of wrapping each piece of your block around your fabric edges and kind of sewing them together that way. With foundation paper piecing, your paper is your foundation, and you're building your block by sewing your piecing over the top of the paper. So, and you're doing it by machine. So hopefully that makes sense. I'll give you a little sneak peek of something that I'm going to be bringing you guys in the next couple of weeks. But this is, I'll just show you part of it, part of a foundation paper pieced pattern that I'm working on for something in the future. And there are letters and numbers denoting where and when to place your fabrics and at what point or what sequence to sew them. So A1 would be sewn to A2, that section of block would then be sewn to A3, and so on. And your paper goes behind your fabrics as the foundation. However, you will be sewing with the paper side facing up. So your seam lines are the dark solid lines, and then your outer seams where your dashed lines represent your seam allowance. So then you can piece together one portion to the other portion and create all of these blocks. So a lot more will be revealed tomorrow, but that's kind of the super broad overview of foundation paper piecing. All right, Francine says, beautiful colors in the kit, great for an FPP beginner like me. Exactly. So, and Rachel really breaks it down very easily for beginners. Like I said, that's why we chose all solid fabrics for the quilt, so that, again, you wouldn't have to worry about directionality of print, and you can just grasp the whole concept and technique of foundation paper piecing without kind of the stress of what goes in front, what goes in back, how is my fabric oriented? Because as you're working through, you'll kind of notice that sometimes your fabric pieces are on the straight grain. Sometimes you're going to be sewing them on the bias. Sometimes you might have a scrap that you really want to incorporate, and it's just the right size for maybe this, tiny little piece of your pattern. And we don't want to worry about directionality and do we have enough of this to fit in that little area? We're just going to pick a solid color that goes with the rest of the block, and you'll have a lot of fun learning how to do it. Then, like I said, you can create some more of the road trip quilts. There, you could create a pillow using 4 of the different blocks that kind of goes with your quilt, or you can just create a pillow and have like a throw pillow in your cute little Airstream. So lots of options, like I mentioned. Sharon's asking the cost of the quilt kit. It is on sale right now for $69.99. So you will get the 33 sheets of paper solvy. Like I said, it's a special package for this quilt kit only. You will get the 50 weight cotton thread. You will get the 30 weight cotton blendables. You will get the assorted quilting needles, and you will get all of those beautiful Kona cotton fabrics, which again are high quality fabrics. Just like using high quality thread, using high quality fabrics is another way of not only making a quilt that's really soft and buttery and that you really want to cuddle up in, but a quilt that's going to last. So another important thing, but a great, great deal on all of those materials. I think you will find that if you go to purchase all of those items separately, that it's going to be way more than $69.99. And like I said, you'll get a whole ton of paper solvy sheets, so you won't have to buy all of those packs individually. All right, Ursula's registered. See you there again tomorrow at 2 p.m. So it's going to be fun. Ooh, Twyla says all national parks are open free this Saturday. Amazing. So you can take your webcast tomorrow and then you can get out to the national parks on Saturday and kind of, get even more of a taste of your road trip quilt. So that's great. All right. People are loving the colors of the thread as well. And Anne Marie says she's created a few paper piecing blocks from Fiona Sandwich, but she's curious how the paper solvy makes it easier. Well, you will definitely find out tomorrow. She's going to show you. And I mean, the main reason that it makes it easier is it's water soluble paper. So you actually can leave the paper solvy in all of your blocks. It will then stabilize all of those blocks when you sew all the blocks together. And then when you go to layer your batting and backing and add your binding, keep the paper solvy in there, and you can actually throw your entire quilt in the washing machine and the paper solvy will dissolve. If you don't want to bother with ripping any of the paper out of your seams, you can certainly do it that way. And the paper will give you additional stability through your quilting process too. Or you certainly can construct your blocks. And then, like I mentioned earlier, it may have been on the previous live broadcast that got cut off early. You can get a cotton swab or Q-tip wet and run it along your seam lines and lift your paper up really easily. It will dissolve along those seam lines, allowing you to just lift it away instead of tearing it away. When you try to tear it away, oftentimes you can get a popped stitch that you'll have to re-sew, and you'll have to go back and make sure that your block is constructed properly. So that is really the advantage of using paper solvy in your FPP projects. Okay. Elaine says, sounds easy enough. Okay, Dawn is saying, you mentioned that cotton and steel threads are available in snap spools, but I cannot find them on the website. So if you're looking for them, you can go to the threads category and then go to the cotton category, and then you will see 50 weight cotton snap spools. In my previous post, I linked directly to that page, but since I had to start again here, the description of the post is not populated yet. So as soon as we end here today, I will copy that over to our second live post, and you will find all of those links if you still can't find it on the website. All right, Linda says, one of our daughters works for Texas Parks and Wildlife. This would make a great quilt for her. Absolutely. My son has a friend who's collecting all the junior ranger badges that he can. He's quite obsessed, and so I just think it's such a cool idea to make a quilt that showcases all of those patches. You don't want to lose them, and you don't want to hide them in a box. So it's a really cool way to display those little patches or embroideries. You could do an embroidery of a little state icon for the national parks that you have visited. So there are a lot of different ways, again, to personalize. And I think you'll really enjoy it. All right, Cindy has never done paper piecing before. So again, this is a great, great project for beginners. And if you have done it forever, but maybe never tried the paper solvy, or you want tips from the designer on this particular pattern, please join us for the webinar and you will find out all of these beautiful, beautiful things. All right, so again, don't forget your free shipping. This is good until midnight tonight. The webcast kit for the Road Trip Quilt is on sale until midnight tomorrow night. So just trying to keep those things straight for you here. And some of you have asked about the pattern. So here is the picture of the quilt kit again. This also does come with the pattern. So you don't need to purchase the pattern separately. The pattern itself is $25 because it's very lengthy and it includes tons of block patterns so that you can mix and match and personalize your quilt. So if you take into account that paper solvy, the threads, the needles, all that fabric, and the $25 pattern, I mean, $69.99 is really a steal for this quilt kit. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, somebody else is asking a question. Is there any prep for tomorrow's class? I have the kit. So the class isn't really meant to be a sew along per se because it is only 60 minutes long. So we're not expecting you to have your kit prepped and ready to go and sew along with us because there's no way you would get through this entire quilt in just 60 minutes, especially while you're paying attention to the live webcast. So as far as tomorrow goes, you can have your kit in front of you, maybe a notepad so you can take some notes, and you can kind of get your bearings with all of the materials that were included in your kit. But again, if you have not grabbed up a kit, don't worry because you can watch the webcast over and over again. And when your kit arrives, you can play it, pause it, rewind it, all of those good things. So there's really nothing you need to do tomorrow to prepare. Just show up and enjoy. And sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. What you can do, if you wish, is you can print your blocks onto your paper solvy. Now, we recommend that you set your printer for the draft setting or the lowest ink setting. You really don't need to saturate the paper solvy with a bunch of your printer ink. So save the ink, set it to draft or lowest quality, I think it's called, setting, and you can print out your blocks. However, if you do want to personalize the quilt, I would wait until you watch the webcast tomorrow to kind of plot out your quilt design and choose the blocks that you want to use so that you're not printing on your paper solvy and then all of a sudden you decide you want 5 more of the tent blocks than you originally anticipated. Because like I said, that pattern includes lots more blocks to choose from. So if you're already set and you want to make it exactly as it looks, you could print your paper solvy patterns. Be sure to only print the patterns onto your paper solvy, not the instruction sheets and all that stuff, because you'll get 33 sheets, which is what you need to create that size quilt that we will be talking about. Okay. Cindy also has a kit. Can't wait to try the paper solvy. Again, it's a total game changer. The first time I used it, I was like, why isn't everyone using this that does foundation paper piece patterns? So I think you will all enjoy. Lots of you just registered, so I appreciate that so much. Again, it will be happening at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So once you register, be sure to note your email address and password that you use to create your account on our education platform. It is different from the login that you use at sulky.com when you buy products. Because it is our education platform, it's kind of just how the cookie crumbles. We have to have a different site in order to bring you all of the videos and interactive content. So be sure to note that so that tomorrow you can log in, go to the event page for Road Trip Quilt, and you will see a little button there that says click to view webcast. You will click on that button and it will take you to the viewing room. That will be a big screen where we are talking to you, showing you a PowerPoint presentation. Rachel will be on screen to answer your questions. And let's see, what else do you need to know? Oh, the live chat. We will have live chat streaming throughout the event where you can ask your questions. I will address those with Rachel when we have our Q&A breakout sessions. So there's lots and lots of fun to be had during the webcast. We will also have 2 fantastic door prizes that we will give away to anyone attending live is eligible to win. We will pick those people randomly during the webcast tomorrow. So you never know, you might win something really, really cool as well. So, all right. Again, free shipping. Be sure to note the code free shipping. Use it at checkout to grab that great deal up. And I hope you all join me tomorrow for our Road Trip Quilt Webcast. Again, completely free to attend. It's like a free sewing class. Where do you get that, right? Here at Sulky you do. So we will be making this beautiful quilt and learning all about foundation paper piecing. All right, so thank you for bearing with me on this Monday. Normally, again, we do So What on Tuesday afternoons. So I apologize for my earlier snafu in cutting off the video. So before I go putting this all on YouTube, I will string everything together. So if you wanted to watch today's episode all in one without our crazy break that we had at the top of the show, you can head over to our YouTube channel. We have lots of videos there. If you're new to So What and you want to view any of our past episodes, we are already on episode 71. This is so exciting. If you want to watch any of our previous 70 episodes, they're all on our YouTube channel. And you can find lots of sulky videos there as well. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And I will see you all tomorrow during the webcast, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Bring a snack and a drink, and I'll see you there.